Hi everyone, welcome back to Hall Barn Road, and as you can see behind me, a lot has happened since we were here back in June. Apologies for no videos up to now, but we will be having a monthly one moving forward. So as you can see in here, we've got houses coming up, we've got trusses nearly on. I'm here today with Aaron. We're going to be doing a walk around site, giving some technical detail. This morning I've had the valuation with our contractor, essentially talking through and valuing all the works that have been done over the last month, ready to be paid next month by the bank. Talking of the bank, last week we finally completed with Crowd Property, which is a big relief for myself. This means that this project is now fully funded moving forward, hopefully smooth sailing, but let's take a look around.
Rosie, you've got a lovely site here, and I noticed that you're using strip foundations,
Yep.
which is great because it's much more cost effective. Talk me through that.
Yeah, so the ground on this site is essentially chalk, great load bearing, so no issues in terms of having to hit good strata further down. We are at minimum depth foundation for frost coverage everywhere, bar near a little bit of a tree over there. We go down to about 2.6 meters at most. Everywhere else is minimal strip, which is pretty unheard of and a bit of a brag, to be honest. The only issue we have with the ground here is, I think I may have mentioned this in the first video, because it's so permeable, it's so good, it means the soakaways have to be a little bit further away from our plot, so 10 meters instead of 5. That's been the only issue on this site.
That's good news. So this plot here is a little bit further progressed.
It is.
Tell me about the block and beam you've got there. It's not block and beam, is it?
It's not. So we'll show a footage in a second of the finished unit, but we've actually got insulated flooring here. So if new building regs, you've got to hit values on all aspects, not just the entire envelope. So actually putting the insulation in the flooring meant we hit that a lot easier and on a more cost-effective method. Now, actually delivering that, the contractor, it's the first time using it, so they've had to timber board it to protect it. Moving forward to protect it, they're going to bring, before the brickwork comes up, they're going to bring the ground floor up to screed, so it's just going to be concreted over and protected. So a little bit of teething pains, kind of getting used to the product, but it's actually a really great product and very cost effective compared to block and beam.
You're 4 weeks ahead of schedule. That's great news.
We are. So we were 4.1 weeks. We may have just in the last few days lost a few days because we had really bad storms here.
Yeah, the weather.
It meant that we couldn't put the trusses up when we wanted. So a couple days, not necessarily behind. Yeah, torrential rain, wind, all of that. So we may have lost a couple of days, but yeah, we're June, July, August, September. We're going into month 4, already 4 weeks ahead of schedule.
That's great news. That's just what you need.
Particularly going into winter, because that's when obviously we get hit with bad weather, we get rained off with the bricklayers, or it's below 0, so we can't lay bricks. So if we can get some momentum going into bad weather, hopefully we don't eat all of it up over the winter.
Yep. So this is what you're talking about with the insulation in the within the flooring, within the foundation.
Yeah. So typically, if you've got a block and beam floor, you obviously have your beams and blocks like this, and your blocks fill the whole. Each gap in the whole thing is concrete. However, in this situation, the gaps are filled with our insulation, which, as I mentioned, is great in terms of hitting the values we need with the new building regs. Very cost effective. However, obviously it's not the sturdiest material. So the issue was you can't walk on this.
Yeah.
So that's where we've come into a little bit of teething pains just in the delivery of it.
Yeah.
Contractor tried and had no issue figuring a workaround. So the first plots over there, we'll show in a minute, we've timbered. But these plots, we're going to put the underfloor heating down and then we'll screed it before the brickwork comes up. So once it's screeded, you can walk over it, it's concrete, you're covered, and all the brickwork can come up. So a little bit of a teething pain, but ultimately it's a great product.
But the most important thing, just distilling that into normal world view, these are going to be lovely warm houses.
Lovely warm houses. Yeah, with underfloor heating, and it performs great with the underfloor heating. So yeah, they're all at least Bs on the EPCs at the minute. So yeah, should be pretty cheap to run.
So how are you doing with the infrastructure wise?
Pretty much all infrastructure is in. We haven't got the 278 works done yet. They'll be done at the end, but I mean, you can't see it because the chalk has made it all white, but this road is all tarmacked. We've got permeable tarmac, as is a lot of authorities need now, which will be punctured back through in the future. But yeah, there is, you can see a little bit over there. When I had the IMS come out, I had to be like, no, I promise, we're claiming for something that has been done, because it looks like it's not been actually poured with tarmac because of the chalk. But yeah, roads all in, drainage is all in. We just need the utilities to come in now. Our independent utilities provider will probably come pre-Christmas with that, and the 278 works, and basically all groundworks are done.
So this unit here is pretty well progressed.
Yeah.
Talk me just through that.
Yeah, so this is one of the open market units. It's just awaiting the scaffold going up, scaffolding gangers on the plot next door. These are what I call kind of dormer houses, chalet houses, so 1.5 stories. Really nice wide plots, and as you can see there on the lounge, that window former is in. That is one massive window at the front of the house, which I think is just going to look stunning. We have open porches at the front, so all this brick detailing.
Ground level is going to be here.
Yeah.
So that's going to be covered. That's going to be your
this
brick.
is our
That's
facing
what we're
brick.
See.
That's all going to be covered. That's an ugly brick. But yeah, so this is going to be kind of an enclosed porch with a flat roof, and then the front door kind of where the block is.
Nice.
Bricky's had to get a bit clever here and pull in the cavity a touch, because you can't have on a reveal like this a one brick span. So they had to get and that's where you want your contractor or your subcontractors to have that kind of awareness of, right, we've got a problem, how do we solve it, rather than just being like, oh, computer says no. They were able to keep the design integrity the way it's meant to be, but also obviously be building regs compliant. So yeah, really great team working on this project.
So these roof trusses look oversized to me. They're large. Talk me through that.
Yeah, so the roof/first floor structure here is a combination of posi joists as standard and attic trusses. Attic trusses have the floor joists integrated into them, as well as open spans internally, which is essentially a room space. Yeah,
so that entire area there is a room space.
That's your room.
Yeah.
So that's why they look oversized, is because they kind of are.
Yeah.
And they sometimes have a slightly shallower pitch to make them a bit wider. So yeah, the roof here is probably the most complicated part of the build. Dare I say any of it is complicated. Simply because you've got the integration of standard trusses, attic trusses, posi joists, and some dormers which are going to be attached, and integrating all of that into each other can sometimes, if you've not got a good carpenter on site, can sometimes be a bit difficult. Luckily I've worked on house types like this before, so kind of have plans and expertise to draw back on. But yeah, so really excited. They were unfortunately meant to be up today, but because of the weather they aren't. But as you can see, we've got first lift scaffolding is up, brickwork's ready for them to be plonked on, and hopefully in the next week or so we're going to have best part of a house.
What you're saying there about the knowledge is really, really important, because you and I were speaking about knowledge earlier on, about how when you needed to get your funding, you actually invested in your own skill set and your own knowledge. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so part of how we structure our capital is obviously bank finance, pretty standard. I mean, even there, you need obviously detailed knowledge to be able to get that over the line. But where my knowledge piece was lacking was raising equity, but very specifically compliantly. There's a lot of FCA regulations in the UK, and you don't want to be, fall foul of them. So we actually invested, it was about £30,000 in learning how to do that process compliantly. And obviously that's a lot of money, right? But doing that allows us to raise the funds that have facilitated this deal.
Made it happen.
So it's kind of like, you, as far as I see it with investing in mentors, knowledge, however you want to look at it, is you're not investing in the program, you're investing in the outcome that it provides ultimately. And yeah, for us, little things like that, investing 30,000 to unlock the capital structure. Wouldn't do this if we didn't do that in the first instance. It's all stepping stones.
Helps you get to where you need to be and fast tracks it.
Yeah, exactly.
It reduces it.
And also takes out a lot of risk, particularly, well, obviously with us with the FCA, if you fall foul, that could be criminal.
Yeah.
It's well worth the 30 grand that we spent.
Yeah, got it. I know we talked about this earlier, but you've got how many units here and how many affordable?
12 open market, so this is this will be the show home, and then just behind us, this will be a row of 3 one-bedroom bungalows, and then over there we will have a pair of 2-bedroom detached bungalows. All of those are affordable, social rented here and shared ownership as the detached bungalows, pre-sold to a housing association. Pretty standard. Can be a bit difficult on smaller sites like this because it's only 5 units. A lot of HAs don't want it.
They don't want it
because it's a management issue more than anything else. I would like to discuss with the council around potentially changing it to something called rural affordable or low cost home ownership, which is essentially a 100% ownership model at discounted market rate.
Yep.
But has to be sold initially to people locally,
Yes.
which I think is really important. We're in a more rural community here.
Yeah.
People grow up here but can't afford to live here because house prices are higher. This type of rural affordable starter home is perfect for that. We've done it on other sites really successfully, and local people whose families live there can then grow up and actually live there rather than having to move out to the cities.
Yeah.
So ideally, I'd like to have a conversation about that. Whether or not we get it is another conversation, but if not, they're standard affordable at the minute.
So they didn't make you build the affordable housing before the private.
No,
been given that
I
flexibility.
believe it may be that we have to hand them over, or they have to be completed before 50% occupancy of the open market. So before 6 families have moved in, or before the 7th move in, they've got to be done. But normally they're pretty flexible with you, as long as they can see works have started and you're making intentions. If you happen to sell really fast, they're normally not going to stop you. It's just that you kind of done nothing and sold the whole site.
Yeah. When are you going to be handing over?
This plot here, the show home, we're hoping to have about Christmas time, but this plot and the 3 along this run, we're going to have them all 4 of them will be with us in January, which hopefully allows for us to do full show home, fully kit it out, marketing, walkthroughs, all that jazz for launching to the market Q1 of next year.
That's great.
I know.
That's really
very
good.
exciting.
Good timing.
Yeah, definitely. The whole programme will be finished summer next year.
So what's going to be happening over the next month?
Next month, importantly, trusses are going on and hopefully some roof coverings. I'm not 100% sure when the windows are coming in, but yeah, definitely over the next month it's going to start looking like a house.
Great. Awesome.
But yeah, guys, that's it for today's video. As I promised, we are going to be doing monthly updates from here on out, right until the end of the project, where hopefully I can run you through all the good, the bad and the ugly on Hull Barn Road. See you next time.